Okay, so I just arrived at the Odis wood-fired pizza. It's quite a windy day, so you can probably hear it. Joseph has an interesting story about how he got into the wood-fired pizza business. After trying pizza at a friend's wedding in Vegas, he fell in love and decided that he wanted to bring that same style of pizza to Corpus Christi. The process took some time, but they decided to start with one of our porch trailers and then found success very quickly.
I got into wood-fired pizza back in 2014. I went to a friend's wedding in Vegas and found myself at a wood-fired pizzeria at around 4:30 in the morning. I made it about halfway to the elevator and turned back around and grabbed a second pizza because I knew the Napolitana pizza that I was eating wasn't going to be enough. The next morning I woke up and I felt amazing. I was like, that's one of the greatest pizzas I've ever had in my life. And since that day, before leaving Vegas, the next 4 days we were there, because that was our first night, I ate pizza around the same time every night, and I came home chasing that pizza, and Corpus did not have anything like it. So a few years went by, and I would drive back and forth from San Antonio at least once a month to get pizza at this place called Dough. It was about 2017, the beginning of 2017. I was talking to my older brother, Raul, and I said, hey, I want to start a food truck, but I want to do like pizza out of it. And he was like, dude, that'd be so cool. So we started doing the research, all that good stuff. We had located you guys, hadn't reached out quite at that time because my older brother fell ill and wound up passing away. And so a couple years went by, and I think we got to 2020, I believe, or going into 2021. And I was like, no, we're gonna do this. Like, I want to do the pizzeria. My brother wanted to do it with me. So that's when we reached out to you guys. We started that process. And it was a long process. We started with you, talking for months and months and months about doing it. And then finally, we just called up and say, all right, here's half of it, let's go. And you know, when we got it built, we decided if no better fitting name to name it Odie's Pizzeria after my brother's nickname, which was Odie. And then I gave myself a time frame of a year and a half. I said, I'm gonna save as much money from this trailer as possible in a year and a half that we're gonna open a restaurant. And I lied to myself, we did it in a year and 3 months. It was that quickly of a transition. The city fell in love with the pizza. We had great rapport with our community. People supported us. They loved what we were putting out because you couldn't find it anywhere. This was the new pizza to Corpus, literally, because every pizza in Corpus was, you know, your typical New York style slice, if you would. And this was different. And so that's why we were able to create something unique. And when we opened the restaurant, success has been great because of that, you know.
We always like knowing how our customers find us, so I asked Joseph what influenced his decision to work with us.
So I literally Googled brick oven pizza, and then I found a place that popped up automatically, because I guess they were doing advertisement and whatnot, that popped up out of Austin, that they had done some custom rigs and stuff. And then I ran across Breadstone Oven. Honestly, at first I had almost overlooked it, but then I was like, Breadstone Oven Company. And when I clicked on images, then I saw the brick ovens and I was like, this place is here in Texas? Because like when I spoke to the one in Austin, they were like, oh yeah, we bring in the oven from wherever you want, then we build it and we build around it. And then I saw you guys actually assemble the ovens there. And I was like, well, these guys know what they're doing then. So that's when I started doing my research with you guys, and I was very, very impressed. Other than being local, the professionalism, I appreciate the fact that if I asked a question, you'd get back with me. I wasn't dealing with a secretary nonstop or somebody that was planning and they would get back to you after they talked to the person in charge. I was dealing directly with you almost 98% of the time, unless you were out of the office or you were somewhere. And then I would talk to your assistant, and even then she was very, very helpful, but I never felt like I had a question unanswered. You made me comfortable through the whole process, and that's what I appreciate.
Even with his success and growing into a brick and mortar restaurant, Odie still runs their trailer as well.
Yes, we still have the trailer. We're operating it now. It's working off of Everhart, right down the road with the coffee shop. We're working together in partnership with them. We will be bringing it back this part of the year because we have a few weddings we're going to be doing. So yes, we utilize the trailer still to this day. On average, big catering events, at least a dozen a year, and smaller festivals, at least 3 or 4. Luckily, I have an amazing crew. It took us a while to build it, but we got a great set of staff here now. What we typically do is I'll have the staff here working. I take one pizziolo with me, and my wife will be working at the trailer at the register and 2 people turning out pizzas. And it works really well. So it's just a 3-person operation, and it works tremendously. Even at I think we're at a 23 foot or 26 foot trailer, it works perfectly. It's flawless. And we do an average, if we do a festival downtown, typically the festival starts around 2 for the food trucks to about 10 at night. We turn out over 300 pizzas.
A successful business requires passion, so I asked Joseph to tell me about his favorite parts of running his business.
What do I love best about running the business? Meeting all my customers. I love getting out there and talking with people. I love the fact that people can walk up when they walk into our restaurant. They can see the pizza being created in front of them. They can see the wood fire oven, flames rising across the top. They can see the pizza in there cooking. And to me, that's one of the happiest things because you get to see the process start to finish if you choose to. And you know, once it comes out of this oven, it's coming to your table. You see a loaf of bread baking in the oven and they pull it out. You can literally watch it get placed in a basket, taken to the table, and you know that bread was specifically baked for you and not put in a warmer. That's amazing. It's the freshest bread, freshest sandwiches, freshest pizza in the city. Yeah. Bread out of Naples, they call it panuosos. And what they do is you stretch the pizza dough out and you literally drop it in the oven and bakes. It blows up almost like a balloon would, and it's a really thin bread. And I'll show you one in a little bit. Take it and you rip it and you eat it. You can do olive oil, whatever you choose to. But it's also a dual purpose bread because you slice it and on one side you open it up and you stuff it and make a sandwich out of it. And it's a real thin street sandwich in Naples. It's like one of the most common sandwiches found around there. And it's made with the same dough. So same flavor profile, same everything. And it's great.
Of course, I had to ask what his favorite pizza is.
Learning how to make a pizza from Naples, Napoletana pizza, it's one of my favorite would probably be the marinara for its simplicity. And if it ain't the marinara, I do the Diablo Calabrese, which we use a little of nduja mixed with some San Marzanos for the base, fior di latte for the mozzarella, a little bit of salamino, which is a dried Italian sausage, which is really good. And we throw a little bit of fennel sausage on top of it to finish it off, and it comes out very, very good. We are known for our hot honey pizza, hot soprasota pizza, which is an olive oil base and hot soprasota, fresh fior di latte, and we finish it off with some fire roasted tomatoes and hot honey. From what we understand historically wise, we're the first true wood fire pizzeria here in Corpus Christi, but we are the only Napoletana pizzeria in the city. So we make traditional pizza from Naples, Italy. We are certified through Verace Pizza Napoletana from Naples. And so we adhere to the guidelines to make 100% traditional, authentic pizza from Naples.
Joseph's mention of his unique certification piqued my interest, so I asked him about what he did to obtain that.
So I traveled and I went to school with VPN America. They have an American school here. It was located out of LA. They weren't doing classes at the time due to the pandemic. They had shut down the school, but I happened to contact them just in time when they were here in America getting ready for the Vegas Expo, for Pizza Expo. And so they agreed to meet me and my father over there for a week. And instead of doing the little 5-hour classes a day, we were doing 10 hours to 12 hours a day, learning how to make pizza, start to finish, the process of the dough, the cheese, making fresh mozzarella right there in-house, the process of curing the meat, slicing the meats, the dough process start to finish, even breaking down how the scientific method of how the yeast breaks down the sugars and flour and produce the fermentation process. So that was like a very, very intricate class, but it taught us so much about pizza. I believe we were there 5 days. We did a crash course, I guess you could say, because we were limited on time. They do offer I believe a 1-day, 3-day, 5-day, I think a 7-day class as well. I recommend no less than the minimum of 3 days because you really want to get an idea. If you're an average pizza maker and just making it for the house, a 1-day course is more than sufficient. But if you want to understand the art behind it and the process of it, 3-day minimum, 5 days optimal. And they're very, very good. They're hands-on and stuff. And once we left, we were certified through them as personally as pizziolos. Now, the process for the restaurant was different. They want to make sure that you carry the right product, the right tomatoes. They have to be sourced properly, okay? That means you can't just slap any American tomato on the pizza. They want to make sure you're using DOP, Margherita, San Marzanos, specifically from Italy. You need to use a 00 or 00 imported flour from Italy because they want to make sure you use the right flour, of course. They do have other European type 00s you can use. They have an approved list, and the list is getting bigger. You know, they are talking about incorporating an American 00 flour. They're waiting on certification for that company. The thing with VPN is they want everything to be as 100% authentic on the flavor profile and the process of building that pizza, because pizza is very, very serious in Italy, obviously. But they want you to be able to experience what it's like to take a bite of a pizza that's almost, I think, over 135 years old, almost 145, somewhere around there. You know, so 35 years of tradition behind this pizza. They're very proud of it. They want to make sure if you're going to represent what they're trying to do, that you represent it in the best way possible. And yeah, so we're excited about it. We love it.
Yeah.
So we do.
It seems like the certification had some serious stipulation to it.
Yes, they prefer either tipo 0 or 00, 00 preferred. The process, natural yeast, no quick rise yeast, no artificial yeast. They would like a good natural yeast, brewer's yeast if possible. They are broadening their acceptance of what they consider traditional, because they speak of a lot of pizza makers there in Italy and their process and how they've been doing it. And as they bring more people, I'm sure, on board over there, they're trying to find ways to incorporate more, you know. But the way I was taught was simple: salt, water, yeast, and flour. Very simple, natural method for fermentation. They don't bulk fermentate. It's literally natural leveling, so it goes in these white dough boxes and it produces. But yeah, so type 00, type 0 flour, San Marzano tomatoes. They prefer companies like Reggia or Ciao because they do come from a specific region in Italy, which carry the DOP or DOC certification. Olive oil needs to be 100% olive oil. It can't be a blended oil. Your mozzarella has to be a whole milk mozzarella. So anything like Fior di Latte is preferred because it is fresh made cheese. It's softer, does expel a lot of water, so it limits how much you put on the pizza. But yeah, Napolitana pizza is supposed to be real light, real airy, real crisp, not heavily topped, because it is a thin pizza and it bakes really hot. I personally cook it between 850 and 900 degrees. I believe the acceptable limit on it, I think, is like 800 or 825 and above, not to exceed 900 because it'll burn. They bake for approximately 90 seconds is what we typically do on a pizza. And out of your oven, I can fit about, I do 12 inch, 10 to 12 inches, average is 12 inch. So we're able to squeeze quite a bit in there. And they cook beautifully all the way from one side to the other. So you don't have any issues with it. What I did for the process of the restaurant is I contacted Pepe out of the LA office, and he sent down a representative from the organization down here. They went through the process with my employees. They watched how I trained them, and the process, I showed them how to make the dough, how to cut the cheese, how to source the right ingredients. They questioned them, or not so much questioned them, but they went over and asked, okay, what's your process to make a margarita? What's your process to make a marinara? The way I showed them, if anything was incorrect, they would correct them, show them the proper way. They'd check my listing of ingredients. They check to make sure that the oven gets to the right temperature, that it holds the right temperature. They make sure, the process is done correctly. And once that happens, they document everything, send it off to the headquarters in Naples, Italy. They'll call me and do a little interview, talk about the product, and then after that, they'll consider you for certification.
With the oven in the restaurant, Joseph had chosen to go with one of our DIY oven kits. So I asked him what he thought about the assembly process.
The process itself for building the oven, the most difficult part about building the oven was just the weight of everything. Assembling it, based off the amazing directions you guys gave us, that literally helped us with images and all that great stuff, gave us a good starting point. Everything assembled together pretty much the way it needed to go. It fit properly. The hardest part though was having the manpower to lift everything and do everything together. So it took us a little bit. Well, we would have bought it assembled, but we have windows here and it would have cost me money to take this out, and we were on a budget just trying to get the restaurant open. And so we took the chance in building it and doing the stucco, the tile. Well, we had somebody do stucco for us, thank you, thankfully. That's a nightmare in itself, but I was able to get the tile done, all that great stuff. But the process overall was quite fair. I would say at a rated of difficulty being 10 being the most difficult and 1 being the least difficult. I put it at a maybe close to 4 or 5, you know, it was moderate. Yeah, just because the weight. The weight was the most part of it, yeah. We managed to do it with 2 people and it was some work. But other than everything being heavy, because it is, you know, brick and it does all that great stuff, concrete, it was fun. I'd do it again, let's put it that way.
Joseph's experience of building the oven from one of our kits is a great example of what he thinks is his best advice for business owners. Have passion for what you are doing.
If you have the passion and you have the love for it, even building the oven, you're gonna love doing that. I enjoyed every moment of it, even though I was just complaining about it a minute ago. Everything was heavy. I would build 2 or 3 of those again if I could. I think an advice from a business or for somebody that owns a business, if you put the love and the intention to detail into your business when you start it, like me building the oven, building all the countertops, building the bar out, all that stuff for your business, if you can, you know, show that kind of love in starting the business, you're going to be just fine. You know, that's what it takes to run a business. That's what it takes to be successful. You have to love what you do. And if it's a passion, you're going to succeed. You'll find a way to succeed. If you're passionate, you will succeed. If you love what you do, it doesn't matter how many times you come close to being defeated, you're going to find a way to succeed.
Joseph and his team did most of the restaurant build out themselves to optimize the budget they had.
Yeah, all this, we sat here, I stained all this, stripped it down, we helped assemble it. We had the granite, of course, brought in, and they installed the granite, but we designed all of this, built the wood racks, the bar got built and constructed, we laid all the paneling, we sanded it ourselves, primed it, shot it, even painted it here. Like, we did everything we could to save what we could, because we knew what we wanted to do. We wanted to bring something different to Corpus, but at the same time, we had saved for years, and we were like, you know, getting the trailer started. Then we dumped all the money on the trailer. And then we were like, you know what? We have just enough money. When we opened the restaurant, we had $5,000 in our bank account, living on a prayer, hoping our first week was going to be amazing so that we could start to build. Build we did, you know, like we made it happen.
Otis was named after Joseph's brother, but the family involvement doesn't stop there.
Yes, so we have 4 children. One of my sons comes in here and works when he can through school. And then I have my 2 daughters that live here pretty much. They come in here in the evening, pick their favorite chair, sit down, eat some pasta, grab a pizza. And when the night's up, they clean up a lot. They like walking around helping us clean and all that great stuff. And one of my daughters says that she has to learn how to make pizza because when we get older and can't run the pizzeria, she has to take over. I love it that she shows such an interest at a young age. You know, obviously I want her to go off and find a passion of herself, but if this is something that she chooses to do, then I'm not going to tell her no. And go from there. But yeah, it's a family affair. My mother-in-law shows up here and helps when we're slow. She helps make sure the restaurant gets locked up every night for us while my wife's in school and all that great stuff. So it's fun. So I have an 18-year-old, a 14-year-old, and then I have an 11 and 10-year-old.
And does your wife help?
Oh yeah, what she does, she comes in here and helps organize. She builds my menus, replaces all my menus. Any ideas that I have for pizzas, she jots everything down right then and there because she knows I won't remember it in an hour. She is the backbone for making sure I don't forget things.
Supporting local business is a large part of what Joseph and Otis finds important.
So I source microgreens locally. I bring in cheese every other month from a local dairy called Knoll's Dairy Farm here in town. We try to source from them. We try to source mushrooms from local mushroom growers here when we can. We do support local. Our restaurant supports local. When we're not working here, or even when we're working here for the matter, when I feed my employees, I'll feed from local restaurants. We bring in local, we promote local on our social media. I like to say 95% of our posts are supporting local businesses. The other 5% literally support us. Like we post about us all the time. We literally will post on local businesses, where to source things from and how they help the community, all that great stuff. So we are big on local.
Joseph walked me through one of his pizza and told me about how long he ferments his dough to develop that unique flavor. You ready to make some pizza?
Yeah, I got you covered.
You've been waiting for me?
All right, let me get this together. Oh, it's stretched beautifully. So we're going to use a little bit of andouille, calabrese, and the San Marzano's right here. "24 hours minimal in advance. Allows it to naturally fermentate, allows it to naturally rise, and it makes an amazing pizza when the product is done. And then we come back this way, and all I do is dust the peel just a hair.
I thought it was interesting that he pulled the pizza onto the peel instead of sliding the peel under the pizza.
They will chew you out if you go the other way around.
Oh yeah, why is that?
Italy, they're very, if the dough can hold up to being moved, then the dough has been worked properly. If it can't hold up to being pulled onto the peel, then it hasn't been worked properly.
I see.
So it is the process, yes sir.
With a unique offering in the area, I asked Joseph what a busy night looks like for them.
On a busy night, we typically push out close to 275, 300 pizzas a day, is for us, yes. So we are very, very busy. Our to-go orders here locally are huge because the area we're in is a retirement community. So if they're not dining in, they're picking up and driving a minute to their house to eat the pizza. So we get quite a bit to-goes, but they're always within the area. We hardly get any to-goes that are further out because of the area we're at, and it's awesome for that. Like, I couldn't have picked a better place in Corpus for this. And this is our Diavolo Calabrese. So we're gonna make a Genovese, which is one of our most popular sandwiches. So I'm getting the sandwich meats ready for the sandwich. So we're gonna get some chicken, grilled chicken, which we do par cook before, so that we can make this sandwich. And what we do is we fire off the chicken in the oven to get it going. When we do wings, yes, we do make them in there. We do occasionally get funny in here and like doing our wings. So I'm getting some peppers ready. That is going to be a fennel sausage. So what we do, fennel sausage ready to go. And what we're going to do is top it with a little olive oil, just so we don't burn anything. And then this is going to go get fired off in the oven too. Put it right in there. Yeah, so it goes in there just for a couple minutes, and then I pull it just enough to get that process started. Yeah, I've cooked everything in that oven. We cook everything in that oven. So these are a version of a panuoso that we're doing. Is I top it with just a little olive oil, then we hit it with a little bit of garlic, so you get a nice little smoky flavor across the top. and then finish with a little bit of, just a little salt for the bread.
Beautiful.
Goes in to the oven. Chicken comes out. Sausage and peppers looks great. Do this one first here. Sandwich opens up.
Nice. Okay.
See that? And we turn it around. We layer our chicken, everything in here like that. We give it a good spread, right? But yeah, this sandwich right here is probably one of my favorites. And then I got this one I'm gonna knock out real quick, which is gonna be, for the customer, will be the sausage one. Yes, only room for temperature fermentation. We naturally let the room do its thing. So we try to keep our temperature in the kitchen where it rests overnight around 74 degrees is kind of optimal. Get a little pesto in there. So that's how we layer our sandwich right there.
Wow.
And then we'll top it.
Yeah.
A little bit more parm. My
Food
employees
every
love
day.
it here. They eat free every day. I let them get a meal every day for free. So every pizza that's on the menu, based on certain ingredients from that pizza, we named them after the different regions of Italy. Nice. So like your Genoa is your pesto pizza. Yeah. You can't go wrong with it, right? Yeah. Even down to our Lazio, down to our, we even have we used to have our Scandinavia, we used to have Sardinia. Every one of our pizzas are Calabrese, Diavolo Calabrese. We're using the Andura Calabrese, which is the Calabrian chilies from Calabria. So we name everything after the different regions.
Consistency in everything you do is important to a successful business, even down to where the fire is placed in the oven.
I always run the fire on the same spot. I try not to change it up on the guys, but I do a startup method differently. So every Wednesday when we come in here, I start it up dead center, right? But then I'll purposely move the wood over to this side and let it burn for a whole hour just to give it some good heat to this side. And then we'll move it over to finish it off over there, yeah. And no, that's a traditional way to fire it, but I leave it over here a little longer because I understand for the way we operate here, it's easier for us to put a pizza here, step back and plate this way versus fire over here and you're working with the guys that are behind you. Because I typically have one guy making the pizza and two guys building them. One's getting the dough out, spreading some of them, and the other one's topping them. And then he'll get the pizza maker will put the peel here and they'll load it for him. He just loads it in the oven and just spends his own time just turning the pizzas, plating them, and cutting them. And this guy will jump over to cutting and decorating the plates and all that great stuff. But yeah, we run a 3-man operation on the weekend. Yeah. So
Even though they are very busy with pizza, Joseph is planning a different style of food to serve on the days they have been closing, East Coast style barbecue.
Mondays and Tuesdays are our days, but we're about to get really crazy in this restaurant. We're going to be opening a secondary food business out of this restaurant Mondays and Tuesdays. It's the expansion's moving over. This one is not even Italian food. It's not even, it's American food, but we're doing it out of the pizzeria. The reason I'm doing it is because it's like the shock and awe thing. I'll tell you exactly what I'm doing. I'm doing a East Coast style barbecue outside of this restaurant Mondays and Tuesdays, 12 o'clock to sell out. Scrolling through Facebook and you're like, why is this Italian restaurant serving barbecue? I want to catch people's attention. I want people to know like, hey, you can do this when you come to Odie's on Mondays and Tuesdays. And it's only available twice a week. So Mondays and Tuesdays is sellout. So it's like very limited opportunity to get it. The food that we're serving is unlike any other barbecue joint that serves food anywhere here, San Antonio, Austin, Dallas. Yes, we're doing brisket. Yes, we're doing chicken, but the styles of chicken, brisket, lamb we're doing completely different. We have a few other cuts of meat that we're doing that aren't done in typical Texas barbecue. So using that, I'm thinking, it's gonna be something that people are gonna wanna try and experience. Some of the product we're going to be doing will be cooked out of this oven.
All right, so I'm trying the Toscana pizza.
Yes.
Look at this. It smells amazing.
Yes, sir.
So I love it.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
not complicated. Our 3 top selling pizzas would be Margherita, Diablo, either Toscana or Genoa.
After trying and loving their pizza, I wanted to take a moment to thank Joseph for his business and his team for letting me come and see how they work. Yeah, just finished a meeting with Joseph Garza, the owner of Odie's Wood-Fired Pizza, and his team. Really an amazing team. The food is exceptionally good. They are very creative with their menu. Everyone is extremely nice. The hospitality is everything you can hope for. I had such a great time and very grateful that they made the time for me. So now time to move to the next visit.